All right, guys, so we are on a content roll today. Uh, Quick one, not an easy one, though. Something that you should keep in the back of your mind, probably more so than most things that you'll hear, and that is this. You are in the business of making fans. So, even more than in the business of making music, making a great track, making t-shirts, uh, making DJ mixes, the second that you adopt the idea that you are in the business of making fans, the easier this will come. And what I'm about to say could be taken in a lot of different ways, and I think a lot of people might take this the wrong way, so be careful. But I think that I'm living proof of that with my production style and with what I see other people doing. And I'll give you a perfect example. I just saw online, I'm not going to mention names or anything because it just doesn't matter. Somebody just said that I'm making a new track and this thing sounded epic. And you could really tell that there was a lot of TLC put into it. What I really mean to say by that is this person mimicked a certain sound to a T. There wasn't anything original about it, but it was very well constructed to match or be the intended genre that it was. If you don't understand what I mean by that, it's this. This wasn't the genre, but I'll just use it as the example. This person set out to make dubstep. They nailed it. You can tell. They had every popular sample for that music style in their arsenal. They had the production techniques that style demands down pat. They had the sounds, the synth sounds, the samples, the presets, everything that it took to make that sound and have it be hard to tell who it was other than knowing that it sounds real professional. They had it. Here's the problem with that. With my kind of sound, I don't have that. You're not going to be able to hear my sound and say, he set out to make dubstep and he nailed it. I have my own sound. So my stuff is more original than it is able to be really, I'm not real good at mimicking other genres. I just make what I make and that's it. But that's okay, and here's why. No one is judging me on my authentic dubstep sound. No one is judging me on my authentic house music sound because I don't make that. In fact, no one's really judging me all that much at all. And yet I have a bigger fan base than most. So how is it that somebody who doesn't spend hours perfecting their tracks and saying things like delete layers, don't add layers, and saying things like use a preset to master, and saying things like use certain plugins, which I talk about in my advanced production technique course, to help with masking. And how is it that I can kind of have that in some ways kind of sloppy and quick and dirty and not overthought, complete lack of ADD, complete lack of obsession, just get it done kind of style, and have a fan base to the degree that I do with proof of it. But yet there's other people out there who are absolutely nailing a sound that makes it hard to even know who it is. I mean, it could be somebody huge, but it's not. They have the sound down so good it's hard to even tell at that point if it's a major label or if it's just somebody in their bedroom that really has the sound down wonderfully. And they struggle to have a fan base. Number one, originality. I think, people might disagree with this, but I think the last thing the world needs is another insert genre there. House, dubstep, breaks, tech house, whatever trance track that sounded like the last one from a popular artist, or sounded like the last one from another artist, or sounded like the last one from anybody else. What the world wants and likes is originality. So it's better to have a production with maybe a snare drum that's a little bit too loud in the mix, but a super original production, rather than like, oh, cool, another big room psytrance track that sounds like everybody else. I couldn't tell you who it is because there's nothing original about it. It doesn't have that signature sound. Like with me, waves, seagulls, steel drums, an overall just vibe to it. So when you don't set yourself apart, but rather you mimic a genre, you set yourself up for a very dangerous thing. And, you know, that doesn't really, in my opinion, make fans easily. It's not that it doesn't make fans. It just doesn't make fans very easily. It's a much harder grind. And as a result, that's why I really stand behind saying and hoping that you take my advice that you really are in the business of making fans. I hate to say that, and you can get mad at that, and you can take that out of context and say, Mikey said I'm in the business of making fans, not making quality music. I didn't say all that. All I'm saying is when you start to put your focus on, wait a minute, I'm in the business of making fans. Wait a minute, I'm in the business of making fans. You get distracted. Wait a minute, I'm in the business of making fans. You start to do things differently, small things, every day, and little habits form that skyrocket your fan base beyond what you'd ever had thought. So don't worry about mimicking the greats or your influence. Worry about being yourself, even if there's imperfections to it, and worry about being in the business of making fans. And I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do that because it's similar to making friends, or owning a business where you're looking to sell. So if I owned a coffee shop, and you might not be comfortable with this, but I would get in the habit of this. If I were in the business of making fans at the coffee shop, I would probably give every person who bought coffee the reminder as they got to the register that we have fresh muffins every day. So as they're checking out, guys, we've got fresh chocolate chip and banana nut muffins right in the case. They just came in about an hour ago, or probably even better yet, we make them in-house. Shame on me. Have you had breakfast yet? And if they say no, that's fine. But that's a really great way to remind them this isn't just a coffee house. And if you're hungry, grab one to go for lunch. Grab one to eat it at your desk. And then take it a step further. And every single person who does get a muffin with their coffee, so I upsold them, they get a free sticker that has my coffee shop's logo and my coffee shop's social media or web address or phone number or whatever on it so that they know where it's at. Now, coffee shop's a little different because it'll be probably centralized to one town. So maybe it would be like Mike's Coffee of Fort Lauderdale or Fort Walton or Destin, Florida or whatever. But you're in the business of making fans, not music. So just as you might be in the business of making banana nut muffins and roasting coffee, that's great. But none of that means anything if they're not buying your product. If they're not buying your coffee and your muffins, you've missed the whole point. You're in the business of getting customers. You're in the business of making fans. And you can do that in a number of ways. The broad stroke solution is engage them. Talk to them. Ask them where they're from. Ask them what do they do. Ask them what their favorite song is by you. Mention them in your social media stories and posts. Hold a contest. And do things that gets them involved. Anytime you make a post, maybe once a week, make it a pact to have a poll. So the poll could be, at least starting out, who do you guys think I sound like? Marshmello, Galantis, Avicii, Kygo. See what people say in the votes. It gets them involved. They love it. Cool. Contest. Ready? The first person to join my Spotify and take a screenshot proving they joined my Spotify and send it to me via email or instant message on a social media platform, or tag me, even better, in the post. So you go to Spotify, follow me on Spotify, take a screenshot that you followed me, and then post it on your social media, and then tag me in that post. I'll give you a free sticker to the first person who does that. The reason why, there's a few things at play there, and I'm sure that you can see most of them, if not all of them. Number one, it engages the fan. It gets them doing something, which is fun. Number two, it makes sure that anybody who reads that wasn't previously following you on Spotify follows you. Number three, now they are following you on Spotify, they can easily stream your music. Number four, and they probably will stream it right then and there. Maybe they'll keep that window open and open up a new window. Number four, they're going to post that to their social media accounts, which means visibility for your brand via their friends. Their friends are going to be scrolling later on that night. They're going to come across that profile. They're going to see that their friend is promoting you and your music because they love you and your music. So you just may have, if not made new fans from their friends, you at least started to plant the seed of awareness in their friends, which is good. And then they tag you in it in hopes of getting a free sticker or t-shirt. So their friends are going to see that. You've got them engaged. You can leave a comment on their post, and then people might see that and even really appreciate it, because not only did they see the post, not only did they check you out, but then they also see that you commented on that post, so they may even appreciate that even more, since you're paying a lot of respect to their friend, and follow you. So little things like that create kind of a chain of events can be very helpful. Get fans involved in designing a t-shirt. For the season of fall, for Halloween, I want everybody to comment on this post what they would do for a Halloween t-shirt for the Mikey brand, and see what people say. Even if it's only 1 or 2 comments, see what people say. People follow people, so comments will build. Don't worry about that. And but the key thing is you're going to get your super fans to engage with you and interact with you, and that's gonna create fans, and that's gonna keep fans. So don't get all reclusive in your studio just focusing on, does my kick drum sound right? Get out there, because you are in the business of making fans. Your music will probably never turn a profit, or a very little one at that. It's better to use that as the sample, kind of like in the mall when you go into the food court and they hold out little samples on the toothpicks of like chicken or whatever. Try this. You try it, you like it, you go up to the restaurant that you just sampled and you buy some. The music is the sample. You try it, you like it, you follow the artist, you see that they have t-shirts, you see that they're on tour, you see that they engage their fans. You want to get in on that action and engage with them. So you do. You follow them, you comment, you like, you message them. Hopefully the artist messages you back and they're doing their due diligence. So I'm just trying to show you this from the angle of a fan as well. You are in the business of making fans first and foremost. If you keep that on your mind, you'll be all right.